Okay, this is going to be our CBA review. Another video for CBA review. Starting with order of operation. Order of operation is PEMDAS, also known as GEMDAS. And basically, they're the exact same thing. PEMDAS is parentheses. You do anything inside the parentheses first. The E is for exponents. We don't do exponents. And then after the parentheses, you do everything in everything that's multiplication and division first, in order of how you read it from left to right. Once all the multiplication and division is done, then you do the addition and subtraction in order from left to right. Okay? GEMDAS is the exact same thing. The only difference is we've added these little brackets here. So on GEMDAS, you're going to do everything inside the parentheses first, and then everything inside of the brackets. And then after all of that's done, then you do multiplication, division from left to right, and addition and subtraction from left to right. We still don't do exponents. Okay, that is 6th grade. So let's look at an example of just what PEMDAS would look like. So it says 350 minus parentheses 41 times 3 plus 7. Well, order of operations says I can do parentheses first. So I'm going to do 41 times 3. So we're going to come to the side. We're going to multiply 41 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So 41 times 3 is 123. So I'm going to write the answer under what I underlined. Okay, now everything that's not underlined comes down because I can only do one operation at a time. So I bring down my 350 minus. My answer to 41 times 3 is 123. Bring down my plus 7. Okay, so now when I read this sentence right here, it says 350 minus 23 plus 7. So if I'm looking at that, 1, there's no parentheses, okay? 2, there's no multiplication or division. Now, when I look at it, it's just addition and subtraction. But when you read it in order, 350 minus 123 plus 7, we said minus first, so we're going to subtract 350 minus 123. Notice I'm coming off to the side to actually do the math, and that way everything in my number sentence stays the same. So I'm going to take 0, subtract 3. I can't do that. So I have to borrow. 5 becomes 4, and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so now I underline 350 minus 123. So underneath it, I'm going to write that answer, 227. And then I'm going to bring down my plus 7. Okay, so now all I have left to do is add 227 plus 7. Okay, if you need to, you can write it over to the side. 7 plus 7 is 14. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2, so that means 234. When you have worked an order of operations problem, it should start with the main problem here and get smaller each time until you get to your answer. Okay, like a funnel or a cone. But you notice I only did one operation at a time. Okay, I did 41 times 3. Then I did 350 minus 123. Then I did 227 plus 7. I worked one piece of the puzzle at a time. Okay, you cannot try to do all of it at once. On some problems you probably can, but don't. Because when we start moving into fractions and decimals and putting them into order of operation, you will struggle if you don't know how to follow the order of operations. Okay? Okay, so let's look at one that's GEMDAS. Okay, so I have my brackets and I have parentheses. So GEMDAS tells me we're going to do grouping. And then I said we're going to start with the parentheses first, especially since it's inside the bracket. So I'm going to underline 7 plus 4. So the only operation I'm going to solve is 7 plus 4. which is 11. Everything that's not underlined comes down to the next line as it is. So bracket 25 minus, close my bracket, times 12. All right? So now inside my bracket I have 25 minus 11. Outside is times 12. So I'm going to do 25 minus 11. Okay, and that is 14. Bring down my times and my 12. Now I'm going to solve 14 times 12. Okay, you might have to come over to the side and multiply 14 times 12. That's fine. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Tic-tac-o. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is 168. But notice every time I took one operation away till I got down to my answer. Okay, I did 7 plus 4, then I did 25 minus 11, and then 14 times 12. One step at a time. Okay, let's practice another one. GEMDOS again, that's grouping. So I'm going to look for the parentheses first. So I'm going to underline 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And then I'm going to bring down 50 plus the bracket, 24, the minus sign, close my bracket, divided by 3. So if you notice, everything else is exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the fact that I added 3 plus 3, and so all I did was write the answer. Okay, now inside of the brackets, I have 24 minus 6. Okay, so I have to solve 24 minus 6 first, which is 18. And then I come and I bring down 50 plus divided by 3. So now what I have to look at, okay, so now what we have is 50 plus 18 divided by 3. So I have no more parentheses, no more brackets. Order of operation says after parentheses or grouping, we don't do exponents, then it's multiply and divide from left to right. So 50 plus 18 divided by 3. So that means I have to do the division first. So 18 divided by 3 is going to come first. 3 times what equals 18 is what we have to think about, which is 6. 3 times 6 equals 18. Oops, sorry. So I bring down my 50 and my plus, and then I have to solve 50 plus 6, which is 56. One step at a time, one operation. Okay, let's look at this one. And we're not going to solve this one. I just want to know what you think. Okay. Okay, when you look at this problem, you know that the first thing you have to do is the parentheses, right? Well, inside the bracket. Well, when you look at it, it says 54 divided by 9 times 3. Okay, remember that dot up in the middle means times. Okay, this dot right here means multiply. Okay, so in this problem, though, your first step is going to be everything that's inside the parentheses right here, right? Well, if you read this in order, you say the division before you say anything else. So the first step would be 54 divided by 9. Okay? Because you're going to divide before you multiply. Okay, look at this problem. It says 4 plus 2, parentheses 4 minus 3. And the question is, what's the relationship between the 2 and the parentheses? Well, whenever you have a number and a parentheses side by side, that means multiply. So this would be multiply. Okay? Now, the relationship, though, would be where you have to really just kind of ignore this over here. And so the relationship would be 2 times, because you take the 2 and multiply it, which is times, the difference of 4 and 3. You could even say the difference of 4 minus 4 and 3 times 2. So there's 2 ways to write that. You could say 2 times the difference of 4 and 3, or you can say the difference of 4 and 3 times 2. Either way, 4 minus 3 is going to be done first, then it's going to be multiplied by 2. Okay, you just have to kind of look at the wording. So you have to think about what it's asking you, okay? But anytime a number and a parentheses are side by side, that means you're going to multiply. Okay, so let's move on into prime and composite. Prime numbers have only 2 factors, okay? So we do a T-chart to find the factors. Prime numbers have only 1 and itself. So for example, the number 31. The only way to make 31 is 1 times 31. Because 2 can't go into it because it ends in a 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, so 3 times a number doesn't equal 31. Okay, 4 doesn't go into it because when I skip count by 4, I don't hit 31. I get 32 and 28, but I don't get 31. 5 doesn't go into it because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. Okay, so you have to kind of go through your divisibility rules. So divisibility rules. If it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, it's divisible by 2. 3 and 9, if you add the digits, and that's like 3 plus 1 equals 4. When you add those digits, 3 doesn't go into 4 evenly. So 3 wouldn't go into 31. And 9 doesn't go into 4, so 9 wouldn't go into 31. Okay, and it doesn't end in a 5, so or a 0, so 5 won't go into it. So you have to really know your divisibility rules, which is that. It's on a previous video. You can go back and watch. Okay, so another one would be 11. The only way to get 11 is 1 times 11. So prime numbers have 2 factors, 1 and itself. Okay, 1 and itself. Okay, same thing with anything else. It's 1 and itself. So 1 times 47. Okay, 19. 1 times 19. Okay, all of these factors only have all of these numbers only have 2 factors, 1 and itself. Okay, so they are all considered prime numbers. Composite numbers, on the other hand, have more than 2 factors. It could be just 3, but it's going to be more. So when you do a T-chart to find the factors, composite numbers will have 3 or more. For example, the number 9. 1 times 9 equals 9, and then 3 times 3. However, we don't say, when we count, we don't go 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only need 1, 3. So I'm going to mark that one out. So the factors are 1, 3, and 9. So 9 would be a composite number because it has more than 2 factors. It only has 3, but it's more than 2. Let's look at the number 16. 1 times 16. 2 times 8. 4 times 4. People often forget that 4 because it's a double. So on this one, I'm going to X out one of the 4s. So my factors are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Okay, so these are considered composite numbers because they have more than 2 factors. Okay, more than 2 is composite. Now, just a few tips. any number that ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 will be composite because it will be divisible by 2. Okay, 2 goes into everything, every even number. Okay, any number ending in a 5 will be composite because it's divisible by 5. Now, it's not just 5, it's 5 and 0, but we have 0 covered already with divisible by 2. So, any number ending in a 0, 2, 4, 5, 6, or 8 will be a composite number because they are divisible by 2, and then 5 and 0 is also divisible by 5. Now, the only numbers that aren't divisible by 2 and 5 are the number 2 and the number 5. Okay? 2 is prime. 2 is the only even number that is prime because the only way to get 2 is 1 times 2. So it is prime. However, 4, because 1 times 4 and 2 times 2, it would make it composite. And then the number 5. The only way to get 5 is 1 times 5. So it is also prime. Okay, but any number that ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 will be composites. All right, next is algebraic reasoning. These are word problems that you will create a number sentence for. This will go in order of the word problem. So when you are looking to create a number sentence or expression, you're going to work the problem in order of the way it reads. Okay, so look, for example, on this one. Julie is saving to buy a tablet that costs X amount of money. So we don't know how much it costs. She has $284 in her savings account. Julie plans to work as a babysitter to earn the rest of the money. She charges $8 an hour to babysit. Write an equation to show how she will have X amount for after babysitting for 20 hours. Okay, so here's what I know. I know that she has $280 in her account right now. So $284 in her account. She plans to work as a babysitter to earn the rest of the money. Okay, so that means she's going to be adding to what she has right now, correct? She charges $8 an hour to babysit for 20 hours. Well, if you're going to work 20 hours and you're going to make $8 an hour, that is a multiplication. So she's going to do 20 times 8. Now, order of operation tells you would multiply first anyways, but we're going to go ahead and add parentheses. You don't have to, but when you look at an answer choice, if it has parentheses, then figure out where you would put the parentheses to make your problem correct. And then that would be equal to X. So, Julie is saving to buy a tablet, X amount of money. She has $284. She's going to babysit for 20 hours, making $8 an hour. You notice I flipped this just to put the bigger number in front. But you could have also said 284 plus $8 an hour times 20 hours equals X. Both are correct because you're still multiplying 20 times 8. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which order you put your two multiplication if you're doing something like that. But just read the questions carefully to make sure that you're putting everything in the right spot and adding what you're supposed to add and multiplying what you're supposed to multiply or subtract. Okay, So just to review, when you're doing multiplication, remember it's going to ask you, you're looking for a total when you're talking about whole numbers. And we can only say that because we're talking about whole numbers. Okay, so you'll find words like each or in all. Okay, so let's practice multiplication. So I'm going to do 928 times 25. I'm going to start by multiplying everything on the top times 5. 5 times 8 is 40, so I'm going to carry my 4 and put the 0 underneath. And then 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And then 5 times 9 is 45, plus 1 is 46. So I multiplied 928 times 5, and I got 4,640. Now what we do is tic-tac-o. So I'm going to tick, which means mark out everything that I carried. Tack, we're marking out the ones place because now we're multiplying by the tens place. And then O, because when we multiply by 0 for 20, we need to bring that 0 down as a placeholder. Now your multiplication problem is 928 times 2. So I'm going to start with 2 times 8, which is 16. So carry my 1, bring down the 6. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 that I carried, makes it 5. And then 2 times 9 is 18. Notice how all of my numbers are lined up. Okay, this is super important, especially for you to make sure that you are adding correctly. All right, 0 plus 0. 6 plus 4 is 10. Okay, 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 6 is 12. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 4, 13. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So 3 spaces over and put my comma. 23,200. That's the algorithm way. Okay, now let's look at an area model. Let's say I want to do 436 times 27. So 436, I need 3 columns and 2 rows. So 400, the 4 is in the hundreds place, so 400. 3 is in the tens place, 3 tens, that's 30. 6 is in the ones place. And then 27, I have 2 tens, which is 20, and 7 ones. Now, each box has a specific multiplication problem that will follow. Everything going along this, where the 20 is, everything across will be 20 times. Okay, everything on the bottom going across on the 7s, you're going to multiply by 7. Okay, now looking down the column. This column, everything's going to be multiplied by 400. So 20 times 400 and 7 times 400. Going down this column, everything's going to be times 30. So 20 times 30 and 7 times 30. Going down this one is times 6. So 20 times 6 and 7 times 6. Now, all we're doing when we do it like this is taking these numbers and making it multiplied by base 10, which means I'm multiplying these single-digit non-zero numbers and then adding zeros. So, for example, oops, let me change colors so I can show you. On the first one, it's 2 and 4. 2 times 4 is 8. And then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. The next box is 2 times 3, which is 6. 1, 2 zeros. 1, 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 0. 7 times 4 is 28 with 1, 2 zeros. 7 times 3, 21. 1 0. And then 7 times 6 is 42, and there are no zeros. Okay? So that helps if they're struggling, if you are struggling with 3-digit times 2-digit multiplication or 4-digit, okay, because you can put it in the area model. Now, all you have to do is add, okay? So I'm going to add this plus this. No, well, yeah. Okay, 0, 0, 8, 10. And then 600 plus 210 is 0, 1, 8. And then 120 plus 42, 2, 6, 1. This means now I have just these three numbers to add. That makes it a little easier. Otherwise, you can take and you can list all of these numbers and add them up. Okay, but I'm going to take 10,800, 810, and 162, and I'm going to add them up. So that's 2, 7, 17, 1. So 11,772. Okay, so once you've done everything, these numbers in blue, all you have to do is add them all up. All I did was I added this set of numbers, then this set, and then this set to get these numbers, and then added those three together. Okay, but it's really just your preference and the best way for you to be able to get it correct. Okay, next we have division. Okay, division, normally it's going to say they're looking for how many groups. Okay, so you're given a total and you're wanting to put things in so many different groups. So let's do a problem like, we'll start with a single digit. 350 divided by 5. Okay, you know your fives, but if not, do a tic-tac-toe board. 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 more is 15. 5 more is 20. 5 more is 25. 5 more is 30. 35. 40. And 45. That's 1 through 9 on your board. Okay? So it would look like this. Times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, times 8, and times 9. Okay, that's what we did. So 5 can't go into 3 because 5 is bigger than 3. So we have to look at 35. So we have find 35 on the chart right here, which is times 7. So I'm going to put the 7 above the 35. 7 times 5 equals 35 because it's in my chart. Subtract and I get 0. Bring down my 0. 5 times what equals 0? Well, we know that nothing equals 0. So 0 times 5 equals 0. So your answer is 70. Okay, but let's apply that to a bigger number. Let's do 448 divided by 16. So if I'm going to do a tic-tac-toe, I don't expect you to know what 16 times 5 is. So to fill out the tic-tac-toe board, we're just going to add 16 plus 16. 6 plus 6 is 12. 1, 2, 3. That means 16 times 2 is 32. Add another 16. That's 48. So 16 times 3 is 48. Okay, so 48. Let's do another one. Plus 16. 64. Okay, let's stop there and work on our problem and see if we need to do any more. Okay, 16 times a number cannot equal 4. Okay, because 16 is bigger than 4. So then we have to underline 44. The closest I can get to 44 without going over is 32, which is 16 times 2. So I'm going to put the 2 above the 4. 2 times 16 is 32. and then we subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then we have to bring down the 8. Okay, so I only went to 64, so I need to extend my tic-tac-toe board. So I'm going to put plus 16. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're at 80, so we got to keep going. 6, 8 plus 1 is 9, so that means 96. So 16 times 6 is 96. We got to keep going. 6 plus 6 is 12. 9, 10, 11. That's 112. So we're close, but we're going to see if we need to go any further. So 112 plus 16. 6, 7, 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. Bring down the 1. Oh, looky there. Okay, right there. So 16 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is going to go above that 8. 8 times 16 is 128. And we're done. 28 is your answer. Okay, so you just have to take it one piece at a time. Now, the other thing that we have talked about is the box method. So if I have, I'm going to do 25 divided by 450. Oops. Because 25 is quick and easy to do a tic-tac-toe board. So it's 25, 50, 75. Always think of this one as money. $1, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75, $2, $2.50, right? 25, 50, $75, 25, 50, 75, 2. Oh, I'm sorry. That'd be $2.25, wouldn't it? $2.25. There. Okay, so the box method is pretty much the same thing. Okay, I'm going to take 25, but I'm going to break that 450 up into one number at a time. So since 450 is 3 digits, I need 3 boxes. And in the corner, the right-hand corner, I'm going to put each one of those numbers, 450. All right, so 25 can't go into that first box. 25 can't go into 4. So I'm going to X out that box, and I'm going to push that 4 over to the next box. Okay, so now 45 is in the middle box. 25 can go into 45. 50 would be too big, but 25 would fit. So that's times 1. So I'm going to put the 25 here and subtract. So 1 is on top. 1 times 25 is 25. And now we subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, so now I'm going to take this 20 and I'm going to push it to the next box. And I'm going to put 20 in front of that 0. So now we're looking for the last box, which is 200. 25 goes into 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So I'm going to put the 8 on the top. 8 times 25 is 200. 200 minus 200 is 0. Okay, so my answer is 18. However, if I had a number left here, that would be your remainder. Okay? All right, so just think about division as you're looking for groups. Okay? If you get the number, not number, but if you get words like about or approximately, that means you're going to estimate or round. Sales tax, because this is going to be on this test. Sales tax is a tax on goods and services. Okay? Now, that's everything. Basically, anything you buy. Or pay to have done. Okay, so a sales tax is a tax on goods and services. That's anything you buy or pay to have done. So you go to the store and buy some candy, there's a sales tax on candy. There is no sales tax on food, like grocery food, but there is on candy. There is on dog food. Okay, if you go to the store and buy clothes, any big purchase that you make, go and buy a stereo, a refrigerator, washer and dryer, those all have a sales tax. Anything that you buy. Now, anything that you buy that's you pay to have done, you go get your oil changed, okay? That's a service. You go to get your hair cut, that's a service. Those are things that somebody does for you. So, sales tax on goods and services. Okay? Next, we need to talk about gross and net income. Okay? So, gross and net income. Gross is how much you make. Okay? That's how much you make. So, you're going to get paid $10 an hour and you're going to work 40 hours. That means you're going to make $400 before taxes. Okay? Gross is how much you make before taxes. Okay? That's your original total. Net is how much you bring home. Okay? That's what you have left after taxes. So gross is before taxes, net is after taxes. I use the analogy of taking a fishing net down to the lake. When you put that net down in the lake, it's everything that is gross down at the bottom of the lake. Water, rocks, fish, seaweed, okay? Everything's gross in the water. But when you bring that net up, all you have left is a fish and a few rocks. So that's your after. The gross is before. It's everything in the bottom of the ocean or the lake. And the net is after. Okay? Gross is how much you make on your check. Gross is how much you make or earn before taxes. Net is how much you bring home after taxes. Okay? Guys, go back and watch some of the old Ed Puzzle videos to help you out. This test should not be hard. You've seen some of these on your previous unit test. So you've had some of these questions before. Just do your very best, please. Okay? I think you can do great. Okay? Y'all have got it. If you've watched the videos and you've been doing the lessons, you will do perfectly fine.